What's up, bud? It's Rob. This is Apparel Success, and in this video right now, I want to share with you a really practical look into how you can leave your job and run your clothing brand full-time, make it your full-time gig, okay? I'm going to talk to you about all of the little details of what happened with me going from working and running my clothing brand to just running my clothing brand and being a full-time entrepreneur. I think this video is going to be great. Here it is. This video here is sponsored by my buds over at BrandCrowd, and if you need designs made for your clothing brand, I highly recommend that you check out BrandCrowd. BrandCrowd has a tool called the Logo Maker tool, which is where they have a vast library of professionally designed logos that are fully customizable, so you can add your own fonts, your own layout to it. All of that is free to try. Once you decide that you actually like your logo, you can decide to purchase it and remove it from the marketplace. If you're interested, follow the link in the description below because it'll give you 35% off at checkout. All right, so why did we actually start our clothing brands? What's the reason that we actually started it? The reason is because we eventually want to get it to a point where we can quit our jobs and we can run our clothing brand full-time, not have to answer to anybody, not have a boss, be able to make your own hours, be spontaneous. Maybe you did this because it looks cool. Maybe you did it because you actually desire that freedom. Whatever it is, the end goal is really to be able to do this full-time and make this whole thing into your life. And I just want to share with you a really practical way to look at this so that you can actually start moving your life in that direction to the point where you're going to eventually get there, and it's not this just giant fantasy in your head, and you also don't end up screwing your life up, all right? So yesterday was actually the 3-year anniversary of K-Bud, and I remember back when we first started K-Bud, I was working as a video editor in a full-time position at TSN, which is the sports network here in Toronto. And I remember back when we first started K-Bud, there was no way that I was going to quit TSN, my full-time gig, and just try to run my clothing brand full-time. And I know that some people might say, dude, that's not commitment, dude. You need to just go for it and, put it all in and just go for it. And I think that that's honestly just stupid based on where I was at. I had to afford rent and the clothing brand wasn't making any money. We were just basically starting. And sometimes if you just quit your job and go for something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. You may actually end up completely screwed and homeless on the street. And that's definitely not the way that you want to go about it. You need to have that rational fear of failure behind whatever it is that you're doing if you're an entrepreneur, because it's very possible that, it may not work out. I know that you want to remain optimistic, and it's also very possible that it can work out, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will. So you want to be smart about it and make the right decisions. For about the first 6 months to a year running K-Bud, there was really no reason to quit my job anyways. We weren't getting a lot of orders, which means that, we didn't need to spend all day working on the brand. And what happened was, after the first year or so, once we really locked into our marketing, once we really locked into the brand and we started getting a lot of orders, the brand required full-time hours from one of us, right? I had a partner at the time, and it required one of us to just go in and start working on this brand full-time, because it was just all the posts that we needed to make, all the designs that we needed to make, sending out all the orders, getting all the shipping boxes, all the packing tape, bringing them out, sending them out, everything that had to be done. It was becoming a lot of work to go to work and then come home and do all that, okay? So you may be able to build your clothing brand to that point soon, or, in 6 months from now or in a year from now. And once it gets there, you're really going to reach a crucial point where you may need to burn the boats, as they say, okay? The term burn the boats came from certain famous incidents where a commander would arrive at a foreign country that is in a hostile environment and order his men to burn their ships so that they have to conquer that environment and kill everybody in order to actually, stay alive, because there's no other option, okay? And that's basically the point that you will reach. You're gonna have to make that decision whether you should burn the boats, really commit to this and really give yourself that extra motivation of facing that full-time responsibility that will really light that extra fire under you to make this whole thing very real for you, spark a little bit more motivation in you, and take your clothing brand, to the next level. This decision to burn the boats was probably one of the hardest decisions that I've ever had to make in my life. And at the same time, man, if I really had to find another job again, I'm sure I could. It's not like you're literally burning the boats and having to fight in a battle and kill people in order to survive. If I really had to find a job, I'm sure I could. It wouldn't be that difficult. But at the same time, taking that leap, quitting a great job that I had, a good thing going for me, and doing this whole thing full time felt very, very real at the time. And it is very serious because, you know, right now I'm 27 years old. I'm trying to get my career under me. I'm trying to really make this whole thing something that's serious to me and take it really professionally. So it was pretty difficult to go through when I was first going through it. Now, I really want to give you a peek behind the curtain here into how exactly I go about paying myself and how I've structured this whole thing to be able to do it full time. Maybe you'll be able to apply some of this to your own life. Now, what might surprise you is that I still don't pay myself from the profits that we make with KBud. Everything that we make with KBud, I reinvest right back into KBud to keep fueling it, to keep it healthy, and to keep the growth constant, all right? Now, how exactly do I afford my rent? How am I able to afford my apartment here? I do that by all the revenue that I earn through Apparel Success. Now, I could pay myself with KBud, so I could definitely, you know, be paying myself with KBud, but in order to, you know, give you guys the best content possible and to keep KBud growing, because KBud's really the foundation of everything that I do here, I really want to make sure KBud is healthy. So what I actually have are 5 revenue streams that I use to actually fuel my own life. The first revenue stream is actually sponsors on this YouTube channel. The second revenue stream is my online course that I sell, teaching how to run a clothing brand and how to market your clothing brand. The third revenue stream is brand reviews, okay? I show brand reviews where I can review your brand for $100 and I'll tell you, you know, all the advice that I have around how you can actually, you know, make your clothing brand even better. The fourth revenue stream is Google Ads. So anytime any of you guys watch my YouTube videos, I make money through the YouTube ads. And the fifth way is actually KBud, which I've opted not to take. Instead, I take that revenue and I reinvest it right back into KBud, all right? Now, that's a big potential source of revenue for me that I'm not deciding to take for myself. I decide to put that right back into the business because I know as an entrepreneur, you know, and I also enjoy as an entrepreneur just watching something grow, and I know that it's really important to constantly just be reinvesting everything into the brand to keep it growing and to keep it healthy. Now, if I just wanted to run my clothing brand and just say, screw this whole YouTube channel here, I'm just gonna run my clothing brand full time, I could totally do that, but I really enjoy this process of teaching, making YouTube videos. I was a video editor, and I really do enjoy, you know, this whole thing of sharing all the knowledge that I have. And at the same time, if I'm able to reinvest all the money in KBud while I do that, why not do it? But if you're thinking, you know, I don't have a YouTube channel, how the hell would I be able to run a full-time clothing brand if I don't have a YouTube channel making me money? You can totally do that. You can totally get your clothing brand to that point, you know, within the next 6 months to a year to 2 years. A great question to answer for yourself is, how much revenue do I need to be generating through my clothing brand in order to actually make my clothing brand a full-time gig? Based on your own life circumstances, where you're living right now, your own personal expenses, and just how much revenue do you need to be generating? How much profit do you need to be making in order to make it your full-time gig? Answer that question, and then you'll have a clear goal to work towards with your clothing brand in terms of the amount of revenue that you're generating in order for you to actually reach that goal at a certain point in the future. The last thing that I want to leave you with here is that if you're working full-time like I did when I first started my clothing brand, you're making the right decision. You're doing it the right way. It's a process and it takes time, all right? Don't freak out. Be patient. Stick at it. It's a long game, okay? This is where most people give up. Stick at it. Stay with that process, and you'll eventually be able to build your brand, you know, after a year or two, to the point where you're able to leave that job. You've built a bridge, as they say, where you're finally able to walk across it, leave the old place behind, and start on your new journey as a full-time entrepreneur. I hope you liked this video here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't already, check out my free clothing brand marketing masterclass video. It's 100% free to watch. All you have to do to get access is go to www.apparelsuccess.com/masterclass. You can watch the whole thing for free. And if you made it to this point in the video, I want to let you know about the closed Facebook group that we have going on for Apparel Success. There's a link in the description below. Follow that link, join us in the group. We're a bunch of clothing brand owners all in there to support each other and answer each other's questions. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace. Lay back, get relaxed, and just lock in and soak up all this information. When new visitors come to your account, the first thing that they're gonna do is read your bio to find out exactly who you are and what you do. Say you reach 20,000 followers on Instagram and you get some celebrities and influencers, then you'll reach a certain point where you can finally leverage that. Like some of these celebrities, it's just like, sure bro, I'm down. Send me whatever you want, thanks a lot. Like you can just tell that, you know, they don't really want to be formal about stuff like this. And I'm going to show you in the next upcoming modules the very strategic and systematic way that you can go about doing it. I'm really excited to show you. I'm gonna show you right now exactly what to do to implement this system for yourself, and let's crack into it right now. What I'm doing here is I'm guiding you into the light. I'm gonna show you exactly how to grow up your account from the very beginning if you don't have anything to leverage. It just constantly keeps growing because as long as you're putting in the work, as long as the strategy's there, you will get results over time. You will get there. If you put all this in place that I'm about to share with you, you will get there. I'm really excited for you to do this.